Hey everyone. Today's guest is Katie Nelson, and Katie is an online fitness coach based in Lincolnshire outside of London, UK. So, Katie, great to connect last week at IFS Lisbon. Welcome to the Lifestyle Lifter Show.
Thank you for having me. And yeah, obviously it was great to meet you in person last week. And yeah, I'm excited to have you. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Katie, we'll dive into your backstory and how you actually got into fitness in a moment. But before we do so, Katie, share something about yourself that most people do not know.
Oh God, that's on the spot. Something about me that most people don't know. Oh my God, no idea. I guess kind of throughout my journey, I've worked with a lot of cool brands. So I guess one thing people might not know about me is I've worked, they probably know I work with My Protein on like a contracted basis,
Brilliant.
but I've worked
Yeah.
with really amazing brands like JD, Puma, Philadelphia, the sort of cream cheese brand, like Tower Housewares. So I've done a lot of like cool sort of branded relationships in terms of that.
Awesome. Unbelievable. Yeah, there we go. That's that's definitely interesting. And Katie, going on from that then, just of all those brands there, was there any I know you're currently with My Protein. Are you still with the likes of Puma or any of those, or were they like short-term or long-term contracts?
Yeah, so they were kind of like one-off sort of like collaborations and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that was all kind of the stuff before I became like an online coach. So I used to do more sort of branded deals and stuff.
Gotcha.
So now it's not as much, but yeah, I just kind of work with sort of My Protein on like a contract. But yeah, before I've worked with some really cool brands. I think yes.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And let's just transition then, Katie, into your actual backstory and what got you into fitness. I just obviously checking out your IG, we can link it at the end. You would have mentioned previously, Katie, that you were someone who, lacked a bit of self-confidence and maybe would have been, binge eating, which is something I feel a lot of people can resonate with. So just share like your journey and how you actually got into fitness, Katie.
Yeah, so for me, my fitness journey started at university. So my first year and second year of uni was very much, I was your typical uni student, I was drinking a lot, eating crap food, not really moving much. So like inevitably I gained weight with that. And that's kind of where, yeah, the lack of sort of self-confidence, the unhappiness of myself kind of started to come in. And yeah, I would just kind of like binge drink, kind of binge eat after like nights out, and then it would just be like a vicious cycle. Not really known kind of how to get out to it.
Gotcha.
And then I think it was I think it was my second year where I kind of had a click and I was like, I'm unhappy. I think I've put this on my Insta, but there was like a club photo that got released and I literally just like cried. And I was like, oh my God, like, do I look like that? And it really just got to me. So I was like, I'm going to make a change. And I've always been kind of sporty growing up. So as a kid, I played football for like 7 years. I played netball. I did a bit of like hockey at uni, but I mean, I wasn't very good at it. But I've always been like into sports, but it kind of trailed off at uni. And then I started to get back into it. So started to do like bits of running, but it wasn't consistent. I actually remember trying to do like the workout, the 7-minute blast workout abs. That was me. So I was typical, oh, I'm gonna do 7 minutes of abs and that's my workout. So it started very small, but then I got a gym membership,
Yeah.
at a place near my uni, and I started going to spin classes, and I just fell in love. Like I fell in love with just the kind of endorphins that you'd get from it, and just that community feel, and yeah, just getting into exercise. And like with that, I started to feel good about myself. I started to do more research. I started to look at kind of influencers in the fitness industry and started to kind of follow what they were eating. I got into macros. I started to track my calories. So it all kind of stemmed around sort of second to third year of uni. And that's kind of what's kick-started it. And then I kind of built up the confidence then to get more into sort of the cardio, the like sort of weight training classes.
Yeah.
So like your body combat, your pumps and that. So then I started to introduce myself into weight training. At this point, you know, I was still a bit clueless, and I was very much in the restrictive mindset. Kind of, I tried to go clean eating, I tried to do everything perfect. So kind of went from one end to the other. And then I think it was when I finished university is when I joined a gym back home. And that's when I really started to get into like weight training and heavier weight training, started training with other people, started to understand more about that, which kind of led me to, I guess, where I am now.
Wow. Yeah. Such an amazing backstory there, Katie. And actually, you know what, something I can definitely resonate with a lot that you said there. My first year in uni, just like yourself, you know, drinking 2-3 nights a week, I gained like 7 kilos. And I went from like being skinny, because I was always the skinny guy, to being somewhat skinny fat. And like my diet just consists of like crackers, Nutella, and maybe takeaways and stuff, and obviously alcohol thrown on top there. And you know, my moment was just being a bit unhappy too, and not liking what I saw in the mirror, and wanted to make that change. So I guess sometimes it's fair to say pain can be a great teacher, and it can sometimes just move you towards the person that you want to become, Katie, which you mentioned. So just transition then to the gym. I like the way you mentioned you slowly would have built it up to doing spin classes, then doing some like kind of strength training before joining the gym yourself. And Katie, there just seems to be a movement, I feel, at the moment, which is so great to see, where, you know, previously there was this misconception that, you know what, weight training makes you bulky, and, you know, if you're a girl in particular, you want to train in the gym, you know, use the cardio area, or use those light pink dumbbells and do 100 reps. But, you know, just showing off even on your IG there, Katie, like you're someone who, you pursue strength. You know, you're lifting some decent weights there, would say, in like the hip thrust and squatting and so on. So can you just share like what your kind of training philosophy is, Katie, specifically around strength work?
Yeah, so I guess right now, like I love lifting heavy. Weight training is kind of what I personally do, and it's with my clients as well. It's what I try and get them to do, and I try and get them to build up that confidence to, you know, get into the weights room. And I think, yeah, like you said, there's so many fitness myths that have come over the years about like weight training make you bulky, but like it really doesn't. And I think there's definitely been a positive shift in the past sort of couple of years. I think a lot more women are now, you know, confident going into the weight training room, taking up space in the men's space. You know, there's so much more sort of acknowledgement for that, which is amazing. And yeah, for me in particular, I think resistance training is the best way. Obviously, unless, you know, your goals are endurance based, then obviously doing more cardio stuff is fantastic for that. I don't disregard cardio. Like I think for cardiovascular health, it's amazing. And you know, like even the workout classes, I think I still encourage women to go to those, because it helps to build those confidence steps to get to that ultimate place where, you know, you do feel confident, then step into the gym and start training yourself. But yeah, I think for me, weight training is it's just the best thing for you, especially because, you know, the majority of people want to have that sort of toned physique. They want to kind of lose body fat, have, you know, muscle definition, and the only way to do that is really with sort of really great resistance training.
Absolutely, yeah, and such a great point there, Katie. And I know a lot of the clients that I work with too, having gym confidence, it's a real thing, and it's something I feel we've all felt challenged with at some stage. I remember, Katie, my very first gym session, the only thing I knew how to do prior to that would have been cardio, because I would have played football as well. So I just literally like stuck to the treadmill, stuck to the bike, maybe the rower, because they're things that, you know, don't require a lot of understanding in order to use them properly. So for someone out there, Katie, who might be, you know, on the fence about even joining the gym or lacks a bit of confidence, what advice would you give to them just about making that first step?
So I definitely find a gym that you feel confident going to. For me personally, commercial gyms are a no-go, just because I find they're so busy. They're not really, you know, people aren't always there with the right sort of indicate, you know, the right mindset of wanting to train hard, be focused. And I think try and pick a gym that's best for you. And at first, definitely introduce yourself to classes. If you literally have no idea what to do in a gym, go to like a class, get yourself used to just exercise and movement in general, to the general just how to perform exercises, and then try to avoid kind of peak times at first as well. Find somewhere that you feel confident in. And just little things as well, such as like having headphones and just having, you know, your music playing in your ear, having a plan and a structure in place, getting a PT or a coach to actually guide you and actually show you what to do. Because I think a lot of us are just scared of going because we don't know what to do. And we don't want to make ourselves, you know, look stupid. We don't want to make a fool of ourselves. So if you have that coach, or you have a personal trainer, or you have a plan to follow and you know exactly what you're doing, then it takes so much kind of stress off your sort of shoulders and stuff, thinking that everyone's looking at you.
Yes, yeah, and thinking everyone's looking at you. Honestly, I feel a lot of the time we're just in our own head, and we're too self-obsessed with ourselves to think that, like, you know, most people in the gym, they only care about themselves, and they're too worried about looking good themselves, and they don't even care about what Katie's doing, what Adrian's doing, and so on. So I think that's a great point, and also having a plan to follow. And I like that, then you just build your confidence over time. But do you know what, Katie, was even interesting just at IFS the week before last, Zoe Lee, someone, or for all of our listeners out there, like, she's been training in the gym for over 10 years. She's got like over 500,000 followers on social media, and she was just even saying sometimes she needs to go to the gym with their partner Ben Carpenter, because the takeaway being, like, there's no need to be an a-hole in the gym, if especially particularly if you're a guy and just like slamming weights and trying to look intimidating, because she was just saying that was something that she felt a challenge with too. So I think finding the right gym environment and something you feel comfortable in is definitely underrated. And it's just something then that for anyone using the gym, just to be nice. It's not that difficult, just to be nice, just to be friendly. Katie, let's then just transition then onto nutrition, because you mentioned in your backstory that you would have gone from one extreme to the other. Now it seems like, Katie, you have a nice balance between, obviously, you know, staying in shape, getting results, but also being able to socialize, enjoy your weekend. So what advice would you give to someone who kind of has this conception that your diet needs to be perfect, 10 out of 10, in order for you to get results?
Yeah, so yeah, like I said, I kind of went from one extreme to the other. And when I kind of transitioned to the kind of clean eating, tracking everything mode, it really affected my relationship with like my partner, affected my relationship with my friends, because I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to eat out because I was scared of kind of what the unknown calories, and I was scared of my progress. And I think the biggest thing that I can just kind of say to people is that the more that you kind of restrict, the more that you're just going to affect that negative relationship with food. So you want to find that balance. And yeah, for me, it's kind of that 80-20 sort of balanced approach. It's what I take with myself or with my clients, and you can still achieve great results, because, you know, at the end of the day, yes, it is energy balance, you know, calories in, calories out, but there is way more to it. But you need to find that balance where you can, you know, find that happy medium where you can enjoy both, you know, but understand that, yeah, you know, most of your diet does need to come from whole foods. It needs to come from foods that are going to be good for your body. They're going to help you recover. They're going to keep you full, satisfied, you know, foods that are generally whole foods, complex carbs, all the good stuff. But there's also a sort of need for food that is also good for the soul as well. You know, I think if you try and cut out sugar, you try and cut out chocolate, like, you never last. Like, you just never last, because you'll always get that craving, or there'll always be someone next to you who offers you a little bit. And, you know, I think the more you try and restrict the stuff that you really, really enjoy, it's just gonna backfire. And, you know, you see that along with sort of like opposite episodes where you kind of binge at the weekend, you know, clean eating in the week, and then just overeating at the weekends, and you just get into that vicious cycle. So yeah, for me, it's about finding that happy medium and actually being okay that it's not going to be perfect, and okay that you might not be able to track everything, or you might end up having a chocolate off plan because you're craving it, especially for women. Like, we go through, like, with the menstrual cycle, like,
time of the month,
so there will be weeks where we're like, we need more food and we really just crave high sugar. And it's just kind of being more in tune with like your hunger levels, but also being in tune with like what you actually want to eat, and then also being in tune with what actually makes you feel good.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, restriction promotes addiction, and the more you say you
Mm.
can't have something, it may last for a day, it may last for a week, but then whenever you do break out of that cycle, that's what promotes binge eating, which is, obviously what we want to move away from. And Katie, just even going off your own personal approach, you shared out of like nice high protein, easy to make recipes. What would a typical days like eating look like for you, Katie, just on a daily basis?
Yeah, so for me, like I need it to be quick and convenient. Like I do not have time. My recipes might look like they take loads of time, but they really don't. So like a typical day of eating for me right now is I train in the morning. I'll have some like carbs pre-workout or intra-workout.
Yeah,
And then it will be followed with just like cereal and some and a protein shake and some fruit. So it's like quick, like digestion,
yeah,
protein and carbs. And then my next meal is usually something like eggs, avocado, chicken sausages, bread. Like that is just my favorite brunch.
lovely.
Oh, it's my favorite. I have it every single day. And then eat like snack wise, I love like yogurt bowls. I love nut butter, rice cakes, like just spreading it on, having fruit again. And then dinner is just typical, like whatever I make.
Yeah,
But generally, my meals will contain like a balance of protein,
yeah,
complex carbs, vegetables, and some kind of fats or sauce to make it
I love it.
obviously
Yeah,
variety.
yeah.
And dark
Something,
chocolate. I love
yeah.
dark chocolate as well.
Curious, Katie, what percent dark chocolate do you use?
So I actually have 85% now.
Same as that. Yeah.
Really? Yeah. See, I know
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
people are like that's disgusting, but for me, it satisfies the kind of craving,
yeah.
but it's not it's not like I need loads and loads of it. It's like I have two pieces and I'm like, I feel good now.
Yes,
Basically.
absolutely. Yeah, I find like 85 is my sweet spot too. Anything like even 70%, it's kind of like you have two pieces and you're like, oh, I wouldn't mind a bit more. Whereas 85, I just feel much more satisfied.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
exactly. But I mean my diet kind of it's similar throughout the day. Like I'll use the same sort of
yeah.
like like the same kind of structure of my meals, but I think changing up is important as
Yes,
well. You know,
adding variety.
adding variety because again, you won't get bored of your diet.
Yeah,
And for me, I'm never bored, which is why I never then feel the need to overindulge in X, Y,
brilliant.
and Z. If I fancy some ice cream, I fancy a donut or some chocolate, I will just have it. And I think that's really, really important as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And even just as well, I feel like looking at your calories from a weekly instead of a daily point of view. And let's just say you're someone out there and you're sticking to 2,000 a day, that's still 14,000 a week. So some days you can have high days, some days you can have low days, provided in the overall grand scheme of things, we have that energy balance. Katie, I
Mhm.
work with a lot of working professionals, and I'm sure you're somewhat similar who, have the 9 to 5 or work 40 plus hours a week. And what advice would you give for someone who wants to embrace this lifestyle, but they're maybe tight on time and just feel that they don't have time to cook some of these healthy meals that we're talking about?
So I think meal prep is
Yeah,
massively key. Yeah, you might work Monday to Friday, but Saturday and Sunday you're not working. And I think a lot of people overcomplicate healthy and like it really doesn't need to be healthy. Even if you need to buy sort of pre-cooked meats or pre-cut salad or vegetables or frozen stuff, they don't take a long time to cook. And I think people just get into the mind that they don't have the time. But I'm not saying everybody has the same hours in the day, but
yeah,
I think if if you do have a goal in mind, which is a physique goal, or you really just want to start implementing healthier habits, you just put in a bit of time aside to meal prep, batch cooking a big load of pasta, a
yeah,
load of rice, a load of meat or whatever
yeah.
protein source you like. It doesn't need to take long. So meal preps a massive one. And I think just yeah, not overcomplicating everything.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's
It doesn't need to be that difficult. Like honestly, you could prepare 5 breakfasts in 3 minutes. Overnight oats, get some oats,
yeah.
fire in some chia seeds, fire in some yogurt, a bit of almond milk, add your berries the morning off, put them in the fridge, and there you go. Like that's breakfast
Mm-hmm.
Monday to Friday. I was even at the airport, as you said, you don't need to complicate it. Obviously, I didn't get a chance to meal prep for the airport. So what I did was as you mentioned, I just got some cooked meat. I got a salad bowl. I put the cooked meat into the salad bowl. Is it 100% perfect? No, but that's the mindset we need to get out of, that it doesn't need to be 100% perfect in order for you to make progress. So I think, Katie, it's just more so that people might have that fear that everything needs to be, 100% all in or all out, whereas there is that kind of zone in between. Also, as well, sometimes if I'm feeling lazy, when I moved to Marbella, I was like, I like meal prepping, but you know what? I want a bit of variety too. And I'm just going to invest in a meal prep company. So they just deliver 10 meals right to your doorstep. So there's always that option too. I just feel it's not about overthinking it. And finally then, Katie, just on the food side, because you mentioned, obviously, even just you were away, obviously, for the last week or so, going out at the weekend, preparing for holidays, preparing for events, or just having meals out with your friends, with your partner, etc. What advice would you give to someone who is a little hesitant or kind of has a little bit of anxiety about doing such things?
So something that I implement with my clients is that we kind of pre-plan maybe what you're going to have. So if you're going out for a meal at the weekend, or you're going away, look at the menu if it's available. Kind of look at what you might want to have, what suits with your goals, your sort of calorie goals. A lot, obviously, in the UK now, is it the same in Ireland where the calories are on the menu now?
It depends. Not everywhere. To be honest, predominantly they're not. But I did see that transition even in Spain, in Starbucks. You'd actually be surprised. I saw like a cinnamon bun, and it looked amazing. 400 calories, like wow. Very easy to overeat there, but yeah, go ahead, Katie. Sorry.
Yeah, no, exactly. But I mean, while sometimes you don't want to know the calories, it is sometimes helpful for those who are maybe trying to stay aligned, with certain goals. So pre-planning what you're going to have ahead, and obviously just making better choices. If it's like a complete weekend away, then like you spoke about earlier, spreading, maybe reducing calories in the week and having more flexibility at the weekends, and having that overall sort of look about, your calories. And just making smart choices in the daytime. If you do say you're going out for an Italian, you think, actually, no, I do want a pizza. It's over 1,000 calories, but I want it. That's absolutely fine. It's just then about knowing what you can do maybe the day of, just reducing your calories, having that extra flexibility with the weekends, or just reducing a little bit the day before to give you that flexibility. And I think taking that kind of, again, balanced approach where you don't have to clean eat all the time, you can just have what you want, but if you've got goals, I think it's important to have that kind of structure in place as well to help you sort of manage those.
Amazing. Yeah, absolutely. On point, everything there. I think we align with that. And for anyone listening, if you are getting value, please do share on your stories, tag me, tag Katie, and we will reshare. Katie, I'd love to transition now just onto, we'll say, what are your current goals? Is there anything you're currently working on? What does it, we'll say, like your current workout split look? I know you mentioned you train in the morning.
Yeah, so I actually do have a coach myself. I see the value of having a coach, even though I'm a coach myself. And I think that's why, I don't know about you, but for me, I need that structure and accountability, especially if I've got a goal. So right now, my personal goal is to kind of build some muscle, sit around maintenance. I've got nothing really major. But in a few weeks, I will be starting more of a holiday prep. So I'm going to Dubai in November. So nothing major, but I want to, just prep a little bit. So I'll be doing my own sort of like fat loss, sort of 8-week, sort of mini fat loss for that. Training wise, I currently do 2 lower body sessions and 2 upper body sessions. Sometimes I get a 3rd lower body session, and if my recovery is good, but it's not vital. For me, I feel like I'm just aging as it is, and I need recovery. So that I kind of just basic weight training, sort of no cardio. I'm a big advocate of steps, so I love getting steps in, especially when I'm sat down all day. I will always make sure that I get sort of, my sort of 8 to 10,000 steps a day.
8 to 10. What's your favorite lift in the gym, Katie?
I love a hip thrust.
Oh, no surprise at all there. Yeah, hip thrusts are amazing. Do you like doing them, we'll say free weights using a barbell, or the way some gyms have like a booty builder?
So my gym has a really good sort of glute drive. So I use both, so I'll kind of do hip thrust twice a week, one with a barbell,
Gotcha.
one with like the glute drive as well. But I just love it. It is the best for my glutes.
Yeah, they are amazing. And they're pretty safe to do as well. You know, once you get the technique dialed in, it's quite easy just to even keep your spine straight. What's your favorite upper body lift, Katie?
I love sort of lat pull downs.
Yeah.
Any variation of sort of a lat pull down or row. I love back. Back's my favorite.
Yeah, and your back though, it's quite difficult to train for a lot of people because you can't obviously see it in the mirror itself. So it's really important to get that connection. I'm all for back training too. What about core, Katie? Then what's your favorite core exercise?
I love cable crunches. And I know there is like a technique and skill for them, and it takes me a long time to train my clients to be able to do them properly. But I think once you find that connection, they burn. Like, and I think again, the misconception with core is that you have to do loads of sit-ups or crunches to kind of get abs, and you don't. Like, it's a muscle. If you want predominant abs, like, you need to train them in the way that you would train any muscle, with weight, with progressive overload, with good form and technique as well.
Absolutely. And for even a lot of people out there, you train the core. Like, you tell me you do a back squat and your core isn't braced, you know all about it. Same with a deadlift, same with a hip thrust, same with a chin up, whatever it might be. So you actually work your core even a lot indirectly, but obviously some direct core work too is always nice to round off. Katie, I feel we covered a lot here, everything from nutrition, your backstory, your training at the moment. Let's just kind of transition into some rapid fire. Katie, what's one new habit that you've implemented in the last 6 months?
One new habit?
One new habit you've implemented.
Reading. I mean, I've always read, but now I make it a consistent habit to read every single night.
Brilliant. And that's actually my second question. What's the best book you've read this year so far?
Do you know what? I've read quite a lot of good ones. Oh, I'm trying to think of the names. What have I read? I'm currently reading Mark Cole's Level Up. Which is
you bought that based off the IFS?
Yeah, so I actually did. And there was another really good one, and I can't remember the name of it. Atomic Habits is really good.
Oh, brilliant, yeah.
And I read another habit one, which was really good. And there was Ross Edgley, his one where he swam.
Oh, that's unbelievable. Which book is?
Oh,
not the World's Strongest Man. That was his first one. Is it? Yeah, I know Ross Edgley's book. It's amazing though, isn't it?
I can't remember, but it was just so like inspiring. Like, you know, you can definitely do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And there was another similar one with a guy who was running loads of ultra marathons. Oh, I can't remember his name, but I love those sort of like inspiring motivation.
Yes, yeah, some brilliant choices there. Unreal. When you hear the word successful, Katie, who's the first person that comes to mind?
Oh, do you know what? I really like Grace Beverley. Have you heard of Grace Beverley?
No.
So she's like, probably, I think she's like 24, but she is kind of in the fitness industry. She started as kind of a YouTube influencer, built up, you know, sent out some workout brands, but now she owns like 2 companies. So she owns Tala, which is a gym wear company, and Shreddy, which is kind of like a workout app and stuff. But I read her book, actually. Her book's really good, which is Working Hard or Hardly Working. And she's just a great businesswoman.
Yeah, wow, only 24 as well.
I'm pretty sure she's younger than me.
Yeah, wow.
25, I reckon she's about 25.
Gotcha. Okay.
But she's like, I think, just businesswoman.
Yeah, absolutely. Favorite movie, Katie?
Favorite movie? I love Elf.
Nearly that time of year again.
Yeah, like I was in the shops yesterday, I saw mince pies, I was like, Christmas is coming. And like, yeah, do you know what? I think it's just such a wholesome film. Gotcha.
Awesome. Okay. What do you feel is the most underrated gym exercise that most people don't do, Katie?
gym, I mean, I think like mobility and walking as an exercise form is quite underrated.
Yeah.
Gym exercise, I suppose it depends what you're kind of looking for and what you want to aim for, but I don't know. I don't know one that's underrated. I would say walking and mobility are kind of underrated.
100%.
As a whole, like stretching, warming up as a whole, they're quite underrated.
Brilliant. And last rapid fire, Katie, what is one question you wish people asked you more of?
What I wish people asked me?
Yeah, what's one question you wish people ask you more?
I don't know. What do you mean?
Like, if someone were to see everything that you've accomplished, or just even look and find out more about you, like, what would be one thing that you wish that people asked you more of? Like, people might say, oh, what's your 5-minute ab workout? But as you know yourself, it doesn't just take 5 minutes, it takes a lifestyle. So is there anything you wish that people would ask you more of, that you could kind of potentially help them or inspire them to do something similar?
Oh, okay. I think just relating maybe back to sort of diet and stuff, and just like understanding. I would love to just help more women kind of understand that, you don't need to yo-yo diet or just cut food groups out or anything like that to be happy. Or that weight loss isn't always the answer to happiness, or scale weight. I think a lot of people are fixated on scale weight, and just maybe asking kind of like, what else can I do to improve my lifestyle, improve myself, rather than being so fixated on the scales.
Absolutely. Yeah, amazing. I think that's a great way just to round off the rapid fire, Katie. And for any listener out there now who's listened to everything that you've said so far, like, what are 1 to 3 takeaways that you'd like our listeners to implement, whether they're guys or girls, Katie, either looking to get going or are currently on their own fitness journey?
So I think if you're really kind of serious about wanting to change your body in particular, then I think getting a coach or a PT to help is massive. I think just having a structure and guidance in place is key, and obviously having a sort of good coach for that as well. I guess the next thing is just knowing that it's not taking that all or nothing approach, or taking that quick fix, instant gratification. I think you need to invest in yourself long term, and actually, if some weeks aren't great, it's okay. Consistency overall is key. And just knowing, like, you don't need to be perfect. Completely.
Yeah.
And I think thirdly is, I guess, with confidence and stuff, is just like trying to find what works for you and being confident for you, and not having to push yourself right into the deep end, but stepping out of that comfort zone is where you're gonna see kind of like progress, and making that first step, which you're probably scared about. I think being scared is good, and it's like the same going for like a PB. Like, you're scared, or investing in a coach, you're scared, but the outcome of that is rewarding. And I think just taking that step out of that comfort zone can lead to greater things.
Wow. Behind every fear is the person you want to be. And I love the saying, feel the fear and do it anyways. Definitely. Katie, I feel we're aligned with a lot of just some of our own values there in relation to strength work, nutrition, having that 80-20 approach, balancing things out with the lifestyle. So just want to thank you so much for coming on to the Lifestyle Lifters show, and just for sharing your knowledge and for your expertise as well, Katie. But the final 2 questions that I like to ask all my guests, I'm big into just morning routines, Katie. So I'm just curious for yourself, what does like the first 30 to 60 minutes of your typical day look like?
But when I wake up?
So the first 30 to 60 minutes.
I mean, I snooze my alarm. I'm not joking. I snooze it for 9 minutes. On my iPhone, I don't know why, it's a 9-minute snooze. So I'm not gonna lie, I snooze it, and then I get up 9 minutes later. I get ready for the gym, or just if I'm not going to the gym that day, I'll still get ready. So I always have my clothes kind of out already for me. I brush my teeth, I get myself ready, I go downstairs, I have a coffee, I write out my workout. I kind of set my day out and then I go to the gym.
Off you go. Off you go. Awesome. Awesome. And finally, Katie, because this is the Lifestyle Lifters show, what's your definition of living a successful lifestyle?
I think living a successful lifestyle includes being happy, kind of in all aspects, and not, you know, not maybe putting the pressure on yourself that you have to be happy 24/7, but finding that happy medium with everything, you know, enjoying everything that you do and feeling motivated for what you do, you know, whether that's your job, whether that's your body, whether that's how you feel, you know, your relationship with diet, your peers, like your friends, your family. Like, I think just being happy and successful and motivated to do, you know, wake up every day and enjoy what you're doing.
Absolutely. Enjoy what you're doing. Nice way to round things off. Katie, thanks so much again for coming on. And for all our listeners out there, Katie, who'd like to learn more about you and what you offer, where's the best place that you'd like to send them?
So Instagram's probably the best place. My handle is at KTJFit. And then from there you can kind of get an understanding of more about me. My coaching website and links and all on there as well, so you can have a look at what I do.
I'll post all of those in the show notes. And for anyone listening who did get value, please pay the small fee. And this fee isn't monetary. It's just literally, if you got value, if you learned something new, tag me, tag Katie at KTJFit on your IG stories, and we will repost and we will reshare. Katie, thanks so much. This has been amazing. Have a great day.
Perfect. Thank you. Bye.